这个答案不仅来自中国，也更来自于世界各地的政党。所以，我们今天活动的主办方就为大家安排了这样一个世界各地的政党对话，让我们一起来聊一聊这个重要的话题：为人民谋幸福，政党的使命。为了工作方便，我接下来呢要用英语来和我们的相关的朋友们进行沟通，所以大家可以拿出您的翻译耳机来收听我们的翻译所给您提供的答案。Now, ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure to be here and welcome to our series of discussion, Governance Makes a Difference. This time, we're focusing on the missions of political parties. When it comes to the topic today, they say the missions of political parties, a lot of it has to do with how to bring and work for the happiness of the people. Then what is happiness? Happiness, they say, is not obtained through self-gratification, but rather through hard work as a result of devotion to a higher cause. So here are some of the questions. What are the higher causes for political parties around the world? How would they get there? And what about the role of governance? And meanwhile, how is it going to interact with all the challenges and opportunities? Now, I'm so glad to be joined later on the stage by political party leaders coming from Asia, Africa, and Europe. They're coming from countries with various political and historical backgrounds, and also paths at different stages. I'm glad to be joined, and shall we put our hands together? 让我们欢迎我们今天的对话的嘉宾 Marko Đurić, Vice President of Serbian Progressive Party. Giorgio Georgia, Vice President of Democratic Rally of Cyprus. Mr. Hossam El-Roki, the Secretary General of the Future of the Nation Party of Egypt. Last but not least, Kim Ricky, member of the Central Committee of Cambodian People's Party. Welcome. Thank you so much. Please have a seat. What a pleasure. We have people from all over the world coming over here. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I want to have your immediate response to what you heard earlier, the stories coming from China. And tell us why you are here today. What makes the connection? Shall we start from Serbia?
Thank you very much for hosting this event, and we're really happy, if I may speak on behalf of my colleagues and colleagues from Southeastern Europe. We're really happy to be in the beautiful Yangtze province, and we're very impressed by the results that we have seen, because it is not very often that you see that in a matter of only a couple of decades, you achieve results that in our part of the world we needed hundreds of years to achieve. And I congratulate the people who have done this. So it is obvious that the results of the Communist Party of China in Jiangxi province are outstanding, and the fact that poverty alleviation has been so rapid, industrialization coming from not having any industry at all to producing modern airliners, cars, and virtual goggles that we had the opportunity to try out outside, it is really amazing. So we have a lot to learn here, and in the past couple of days we have seen examples of good governance and actually responsible relation to the own people that the government of Jiangxi province and the provincial committee of the Communist Party is in charge of. So it is clear, I mean, there is no doubt about it, that the thought of Xi Jinping on socialism with Chinese characteristics is giving concrete results here in Jiangxi province.
Mr. Đurić, even though you're only here for a few days, but obviously you have caught a lot of things going on here in this country.
When you hear stories about people alleviated from poverty, having no resources at all, but with help from friends and responsible governance, achieving prosperity or moderate, as it is humbly said, prosperity for their families, it is really something that leaves a great impression.
I see. What about for you, Mr. El-Roki, coming from Egypt?
Yes. Well, in the beginning, by name of my party, Future of Nation, I have to thank the invitation, of course, from the Chinese Communist Party. And for us, we came here, okay, to change idea and to change experience, but mainly we came here to China because it's China. Why China? It's the biggest economy of the world. It's by result, a number, and fact. It is the biggest or the second economy of the world. So we have to learn. We have to learn from an amazing experience, which by meaning of how can you put socialism with private sector, keeping in the same time your way of life as Chinese without change. It's not easy. It's not easy to make 1,400,000 people be productive and be a power in the economy. It's not easy. So we came here to exchange, but to learn also.
To exchange and also have a brainstorm here.
Yes.
That's right. Let's also have from Cyprus.
Thank you very much for hosting this discussion.
If you could bring your microphone closer. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting this discussion. My name is George Chiou. I am Vice President of Democratic Rally of Cyprus. Democratic Rally is the ruling party since 2013 and is founding after the Turkish invasion on July 1976 by the founder Glafkos Kyriakis, ex-president of the Republic of Cyprus. Dear colleagues, first of all, please let me thank the International Department of the Chinese Communist Party for inviting a delegation from the Democratic Rally of Cyprus and giving us the opportunity to be a part of this political parties forum. I am going to proceed in giving a brief speech on how to make a better life for people through effective national governance. To answer this question, we begin by taking a closer look at social welfare. Ensuring and improving living standards should be a primary goal of every government that aims to achieve development. To accomplish social welfare, it is necessary for the government to invest national economic resources on improving people's living standards and public welfare. This would contribute to social harmony and stability in the country. Another key target to focus on is the rule of law. All persons, institutions, and entities, public and private, including the state itself, should be accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, equally enforced, and independently adjudicated, and which are consistent with international human norms and standards. So, it is of crucial importance to ensure that every dimension of governance is law-based. By having a strong rule of law, governments give society and business the stability of enjoying all human rights and being protected through the rule of law. It affects everything on how people live, which should be a core guarantee. So, establishing representative institutions is of equal importance to make a better life for people through effective national governance. The people should be a part of the party's leadership. People should be given the ability to express their opinion on governance, considering every matter that affects both society as well as their lives. In the meantime, the government should see that people run the country, promote people democracy, maintain close ties with the people and rely on them to push forward the country's development. In conclusion, government should take the point that providing the appropriate conditions for people to make a better life through effective national governance must be of paramount importance. To success in that challenge, every government should focus on improving social welfare, focusing on the rule of law, and establishing representative institutions.
Better lives, better governance, and that will make the political party relevant. We've already having our Egyptian friend rushing to give some PowerPoints of exactly what needs to be the importance of governance. But let me go to the last speaker, coming from Cambodia, Mr. Ricky. You want to say something about your reactions to what you have seen here, and how do you think this conversation we have is likely to make parties think how to make it really relevant today?
Thank you so much, Wei, for the introduction. Thank you so much for the warm hospitality given to our delegation during our stay. We are very impressed and to see and learn about the rich culture of China. We see the long traditions and the ancient development in this province of Jiangxi. I am particularly touched to see the presentation from the farmers, the prosperity and the success story of each of them. And we see that with prosperity of the farmers, of the people, we are embracing our nature, embracing the birds, embracing the lakes and the surrounding environment. And just to make, with this, it makes me immediately think of our farmers back home in Cambodia. At the moment, our farmers back home in Cambodia also enjoy the prosperity the prosperity of our economy. Our farmers also enjoy exporting our products to the region as well. With,
China included.
Yes, China is included. With our trade with China exceeding $6 billion, our farmers have been exporting rice to the world, and including China, and bananas as well. So now, with seeing the prosperity of the farmers here, I miss home so much and miss my farmers back home. But all this prosperity only happened with political stability and peace. And we need to realize that political stability and peace is the foundation of the prosperity. And Cambodia pay very strong daily that political stability and peace shall be attained with the cooperation with other partners in the world. And most importantly, when we work for the prosperity of our people in cooperation among each other, we need to remember that we work for stability with the non-interference policy. Thank you.
Both it's about cooperation and it's about making sure to address the diversities of different countries and systems. I guess that's one of the key, in a way, for political parties to cooperate with one another. Tell us about how your party has been cooperating with, let's just say, from China, the Chinese Communist Party. What do you think could be some of the most important areas that you can work on together or inspire each other?
Well, the Serbian Progressive Party is the largest political party in Southeastern Europe with 700,000 members, and we have some principles defined by our president, Aleksandar Vučić, one of them being to maintain a sovereign and independent domestic and foreign policy and non-interference in internal affairs of sovereign states. So being 150 times smaller than China, we really appreciate the equal treatment that we are getting here in China. Not just in terms of politics, no political requests, no pressures, no demands, but also equal opportunities. And in fact, the first Chinese bridge in Europe was constructed in Serbia. With the help of Chinese government, railways and roads are being constructed, and we have really excellent cooperation on one hand. On the other hand, we have some similar experiences. We know what it means to be under unfair and under unjust sanctions. We've been subject of colored revolutions, and this is why we strongly support China's right to independently choose its own path, to choose a political system that is adapted to the needs of the Chinese people. And we also strongly support the global vision, which is much necessary for tackling a situation which is really unprecedented at the global level. We have global challenges that can only be addressed through cooperation. And this is why President Xi Jinping's idea on creation of a shared community for a shared future of mankind is so important. Ideological differences exist among all political parties, but only political parties working together on a global level can find solutions for global problems. And we really need to work together. And I really want to praise the initiative of the Communist Party of China to bring all of the parties of the world in a way together to first have a serious dialogue about where we are, about how to tackle, for example, environmental issues, how to boost trade. The Road and Belt Initiative is so important because it has provided small businessmen, farmers, ordinary people the ability to place their goods across continents, to alleviate them from poverty. So the figures that we've heard here, 700 million people alleviated from poverty in a matter of decades, it comes not by chance, but because of cooperation. And this is what we have in common with the Communist Party of China, this vision of a shared community for a future of mankind.
Right. If you look at the four of you on the stage, all of your countries have been going through or was in issues that you have to deal with when it comes to history and peace and war. Now, how is that having an impact on your agenda setting, Mr. Ricky, for example, in Cambodia? And how does that provide a momentum for your party to cooperate with the Chinese Communist Party?
Thank you, Wei, for the question. With building a strong institution in Cambodia, we build trust for the community, we build trust for the people, and also build trust for our cooperation partners in the region as well as the world. So by dealing with the right political parties and the right partners, we manage to exchange trades amongst each other, and also as a result, giving more employment and better opportunities at home. And we also have been working very closely to build the human capacity at home, building a better productive force to prepare for our productive cooperation.
I see you have a lot of trade and economic issues in your mind. We're going to come and explore some of these possibility of cooperation. What about for you, Mr. Aroki, from Egypt's perspective and your party as well?
Yeah, well, my party have a very unique experience. It's, our party is just established 5 years ago. But the unique is it supplies as a youth party, just a youth party. In the beginning, supporting our president, Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, during his first election. So this is a case of our party just for youth. Then 1.5 years ago, the party find that it have to open his gate to some experience so he can reach his goal. So he opened. And also, at the same time, we find that we have to go to the social work in the ground to be really a big party. And that's what happened in last 1.5 year. We became the biggest party in Egypt. But Now we have 600 quarters in all Egypt. Now we have make a medical care in the village to the farmer, even to the animal of the farmer. It's very important in Egypt. We make a competition for football or soccer. It's very good for the youth, but the way it was, we make it in every village in Egypt in the same time by the name of our party. And that's one of the way to get the youth to the party or to get the youth, convince them to go to the politics. We are learning here and we are getting our experience from the Chinese Communist Party because it's the biggest party and also he have rules in every village and every place. It's not easy. It's the biggest party. So we have to get this experience to extend our experience in Egypt.
So how to be the biggest party and how to be the biggest political party in the biggest population, 1.4 billion in the world. I guess that's an interesting topic. We're also going to likely to tackle a bit later in our discussion. What about for you from Cyprus?
I want to continue some. It is true that during the last 50 years, China's leadership has generated a substantial amount of growth and prosperity for the benefit of its people. So China has been able to apply with Chinese characteristics in a very competitive world environment. Hard work and determination, China has emerged from a poor and undeveloped country to become a highly competitive and developing country. Back in my country, Democratic Rally, my party, which now is the ruling party, has performed important reforms that have improved the lives of our people. To mention only two, the government of Cyprus has fully implemented a very generous and effective welfare system which helps tens of thousands of families to improve their standards of living. A second important reform was the establishment of a universal health system which provides health services to all people.
Very interesting. So obviously, you all have governing capabilities in your mind. This is exactly what has been advocated on the 4th session of the 19th Chinese Communist Party Congress. And obviously, all political parties these days are focusing on this issue. But really, how to improve the governing capabilities? That is the key here, to make the public really feel that their ideas are coming into the policy, and also the parties are really for the people.
I will share with you one story of the
Okay,
Serbian
go ahead.
Progressive Party.
As the Chinese President Xi Jinping said, we should tell the real stories, right?
Absolutely. And we've heard here by the party secretary from Yangtze province about people being in focus of the policy of the Communist Party. So in our party, we also try to communicate with the people. And after sharing experiences with the people from the Communist Party of China, we decided to introduce mandatory quotas for our party officials to speak to the people a certain number of days, 200 years a day at least. Every senior official has a duty to receive and speak to ordinary citizens in order to make the party closer to the people. Because, in fact, all political parties should be in the service of the citizens. And of course, fight against corruption, organized crime, as set also forth here in China by the General Secretary of the Communist Party. It is similar in Serbia. It is one of our priorities, one of the priorities of Mr. Alexander Vučić, and in fact, it has brought us greater investments. As a result of better governance, we have managed to attract 56% of direct foreign investments in the Balkan region last year, because people want to come where you have a stable and peaceful environment and where everything is secure. Now we find ourselves in a bit of a paradox, because the countries and politicians that have been teaching us for decades that we should have, open societies, free movement of goods and people across the world, no borders, etc., etc. Once they saw that Chinese economy has reached a high level and that, China is producing new technologies, acquiring new capabilities, all of a sudden they're starting to go back on their own principle, and they're starting to say, okay, but let's introduce some protectionist measure because who knows what kind of danger looms from all those dangerous 5G technologies and everything else. And in fact, you can see that they're afraid of being beaten by their own game, and they're abandoning the principles that they have been allegedly advocating for decades. In this sense, we should abandon this hypocrisy. All standards should be valid for all countries across the world. And this is why we feel so comfortable when we hear that one of the ideas of creating of a global community for a shared future of mankind is cooperation based on win-win, equality, and just cooperation among the nations.
What you have said has become a global symptom to be so-called self-protective. And that's why we see the rise of protectionism around the world. But actually, people should really see the real value of opening the doors and of cooperation, as you said.
There is no doubt that if we manage to create good products in Serbia, benefit of this and benefit of the wealth in Serbia will benefit the entire region. This is why we are advocating opening up of our own region. And the same is valid on a bigger picture. Introducing sanctions, political pressure, military threats in the 21st century and trying to interfere in internal affairs of huge states, even states such as China that have undoubtedly, you may like or may not like the political system, but it is unquestionable that 700 million people have been brought out of poverty. So it is simply unjust and unfair. If you look at the mere figures, you will see that currently more than 30% of world's growth comes from China. So to undermine China's growth is actually to undermine global growth. And this is why it is not rational, it is very selfish to introduce protectionist measures.
Governing capabilities does not mean you close your door. That's not the way to go. That means you have no capability. The only way you have is to close the door. And Mr. Al-Roki, I know in Egypt you have very same lessons and experiences.
Yeah, I think, first of all, for any party won't be success, and he have to be near the people, I mean in their places. And then we have to talk, and that's what we are trying to do in Egypt, to each people individual. What I mean, you cannot talk to the youth same way that you are talking with a normal or big age. You have to talk to each age which the language, he will listen and he can convince. Second, in Egypt, now I
want to come in here because Mr. Al-Roki might not have told you yet, but the chairman of his party is extremely young. How young is he?
Mr. Ashraf Rashad, 34 years old.
34 years old,
yeah.
Okay. And he himself is the Secretary General of his party. He's been in politics for 30 years.
Yeah.
And all of the vice chairs are also very young people in the country. So it shows how important it is to involve the young people and the public voices into the decision-making process, isn't it?
It's very important to the young people and the youth people to see that they can be as a leader. And in our party, we make it, the young people is in the leader as a president, and in our age, we are giving them the support and the experience. And that's why we, even in my delegation, here we are 15, just me and one of my colleagues, and after the 13 is under 35.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
you know how to increase the governance capability, that is the key. Whether your age is 30 or your age is 70 or 80, it doesn't matter. The matter is the governing capabilities here.
Yes, but as I say, when you are talking to each one in his, then the goal also that you are convincing the people with a big project you are doing. I mean, in our country now, we are under our president, Mr. Sisi, we are building a new modern Egypt. We are suffering because we have to change our currency, free our currency, which increasing the price 120%. It was a big decision and very courageous decision. Our president take it because it have been late for 40 years. Okay, so you have to let the people believe what you are doing. You have to let the people believe that this suffer will end in a good result for them. If you didn't do that, you cannot convince people. But also, when there is a suffer, the people have to see that all the people is suffering. Then, if there is a result, they have to feel that all the result is getting to all the people, not few of people and the others not.
It's not only about what you do, it's also about how you communicate with the people. It's extremely important. Mr. Ricky, from you.
Thank you so much.
Governance capabilities of political parties.
Yes. Cambodia, under the leadership of our Prime Minister Hun Sen and Cambodian People Party, we enjoy, for the past 20 years, enjoy a GDP growth of 7% annually. And over the past 20 years, we have reduced poverty from 50% to 10%. So with that prosperity, we planned to be a middle-income country by 2030 and a developed nation by 2050. With that, we need to do further reform, and good governance is at the core of our reform. And with good governance, we need accountability, and accountable to the people who elect us, accountable to the people we serve for. So our government brought up many initiatives to open dialogue and to hear directly what people have to say. So public forum is our basic initiative with the people. In fact, our Prime Minister cares so much for the people that the people can message him directly. And his office will...
How many messages is he receiving every day?
Yes. Well, Facebook
I really wonder.
Facebook is the biggest platform in Cambodia, and our Prime Minister takes suggestions and ideas on Facebook. He himself personally sometimes will reply to the message, but his office will sure take note and respond to the people's need. So with addressing our people concern with prosperity, we do have a problem of prosperity. Number one is that people eat more, so people have issues such as high blood pressure and diabetic because of overeating, right? So we need to address our healthcare system, reform our healthcare system as well. But with rapid development, they're also increasing in advanced technology and advanced industry. We also need to reform our education to prepare our workforce for the advanced industry. With that, I wish to thank our development partners who has been helping us with our reform, especially our Chinese counterpart who has been helping with the development of Cambodia. Thank you.
I can see a lot on your agenda when it comes to development plans.
Yes.
Development is really the key word here. Mr. Aroki, from you just talk about how you have to be connected with the very grassroots and let the people of very grassroots feel the development is with them every day, right? You told me earlier about some specific examples, but how do you see, China's experiences, which is also enjoying a large rural areas like your country? And how do you think that there can be some interactions between the two?
Well, first, I need to say something. Not in Egypt, all over the world, we learn from China something, even some example. I remember that there is an example when I was young still. I remember that if you have a poor guy, don't give him a fish and teach him how to catch the fish. This is something in the life. And also, I'll tell you something. I read something about the president of China, Mr. CGB, and he says something which I believe that if you are making a system for the village, something like that, and want to know if that system is correct or not, go to the farmer and see the faces, if they are laughing or crying. This is very important, that after you make the policy, after you applying the policy of the people, you have to check if your policy in the correct way or not. And you will never check till you will see the faces is laughing or crying. In China here, no, they are laughing. I mean, we are coming yesterday from, 2 days from one village in China. We see how it was perfect change. Also in the city, there is a lot of change. I mean, maybe my experience also in China, because I came to China beginning 25 years ago for my business. And I came to China maybe every 6 months. So I saw in myself, in my age, how a country change every 6 months. You will not see it all over the world. Another thing I like to say that your country, your lovely country, make the economy without invading any other country, without not forcing any other country to share its profit. It's just friendship. It's the only country in the world open the successful idea and the successful program to all the world without asking for anything. This is really make China and the Chinese people have been beloved in all the country and will be beloved in all the country because they never ask for something. They never ask for changing any country or changing any regime or getting pension for a regime. Just they are giving their experience of success, which it is written by number. Nobody in the world can say something about it to all the world.
Interesting. Mr. Ricky, I want to come back to you also about that, because on that point, Cambodia, being China's neighbor, knows very well about how to respect each other. And as a result of the latest development, how to have win-win in this process for all parties.
Thank you. I think in the regional partnership as well as global partnership, we need to respect each other, respect each other's sovereignty, respect each other's independence, and help each other to build peace and help each other to build prosperity. So with that regard, our Chinese counterpart, especially the Communist Party of China, has been working very closely with Cambodian People Party to build peace, to build prosperity, and respecting our rights and our rights for self-determination. And that is important, that each of us has our own identity, our own rights for self-determination. And I think we should work closer, build a deeper friendship and relationship for the prosperity of our people.
Mutual respect, extremely important. When it comes to prosperity of our people, we only have 3 minutes left. We earlier have touched on this topic repeatedly, but before we go, I do want to have the thoughts and inspirations and insights from every one of you about exactly how are we going to achieve this, to work for the happiness of the people. Shall we start from you?
Well, I believe that we should, as it has been said here, I heard the wise thought, no one should be left behind. So no one should really be excluded from the process of development, prosperity, and building up institutions and the economy. This includes the youth, this includes the workers, it includes all generations. And in that sense, this means also internally, but internationally, sharing links, making, by the way, the Belt and Road Initiative one of the key engines of global developments. It really makes a difference in this world. The initiative One Belt, One Road offers opportunities for underdeveloped, lesser developed, developing, and even highly developed countries to cooperate on an equal basis to increase and improve their ability to exchange goods.
I see. Connectivity, extremely important. To you?
Well,
Final words.
yeah, sharing idea and sharing experience with 50 countries under this CBC, it's fantastic for us, and also really we are learning from each other everything.
Okay, and Mr. Giorgio.
We are very happy to hear before that the government of China is going to implement a complete and sufficient welfare system which will cover the whole populations and especially those living in rural areas and have less opportunities. It would be a major success for any government able to offer a sufficient welfare program to its people. We are very happy to announce that the government of Cyprus has been able to do that during the last 5 years or so.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Mr. Ricky.
Thank you. To make our people happier, we need to be more accountable to their needs, be more responsive, and therefore we need to do a better reform in our good governance. And thank you, our development partners, for helping us realize our goals and our prosperity. And again, self-respect and respect for self-determination we would work for that. Yeah, thank you.
Learn to improve governing capabilities while at the same time cooperation is the key for everyone. Let's put our hands together for these gentlemen. Thank you for their stories and also their experiences, advice as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.